Hello and welcome to sportsbookreview.com. I'm your host, Natalie Rydstrom, and I am joined by two of the sharpest tennis tipsing minds in the industry, Whale Kappa and Adil from tipstersclub.com. Unfortunately, Alex is ill. He is with us in spirit and hope he will be fit and able for the finals. But it is the semi-finals, and I can't believe it, guys. They say when you're having fun, time flies, and I would have to agree. I'm having lots of fun here.
It's so crazy. The tournament's over before it started, it feels like.
I know. Normally, it kind of goes on a little bit, I feel, but this time it's flying by. And there's been so much excitement and there's been upset and there's been money to be made. And, I have watched other sort of tennis tipsing videos and podcasts and things like that. And people are struggling to making money, but not on this show, not with you guys. Hey, you guys seem to be doing...
we were in a great spot, regardless of who won Serena and Pliskova yesterday, because our deal tipped Pliskova and I tipped Serena, so somebody was going to come out on top. It's been that way for a lot of this tournament. One of the two of us has kind of had the right read on certain matches. It's been a ton of fun, and I really have appreciated all of our deal's insights to this point. It's been a great tournament so far. So happy to take this one home with some more winning looks.
Yeah, and I really love as well that you guys some things you agree on a match. Sometimes who's going to win will differ. You've had your opinions, you've stuck by them. Some have won, some have lost. It's been a roller coaster of a ride here for the first Grand Slam of the season. And you've got obviously. Adil, you made some futures, and you've got you've still got some going. Some have cashed already. You're happy?
Yes, I'm happy that I got Pliskova at 650 to win the quarter. It was an amazing, let's say, also lucky one, but she should have won it in 2 sets as the match was going. She was set and break up, and I don't know what happened there. Serena started screaming and she scared Pliskova off.
Yeah,
but in the end it was a...
Good.
What were you going to say, Will?
I was going to say 6.5 is good, but in match you could have gotten about 16-1. She was down, when she was down match point at 5-1, the live line on her was 16-1 to come back when Serena twists her ankle and it all went to hell. So that was a wild match. That was one of the most unbelievable swings of momentum that I've seen watching tennis in years and years and years. And credit to you for having Pliskova. I personally think that this is huge for her mentally, and think she rides this momentum all the way to a title. I know, Ardil, you're holding an Osaka future. I am waiting with bated breath to see if you're going to hedge that at all, because this is classic script. Pedigree is fantastic. She's won so many, Pliskova that is, won so many titles over the years, never broken through at the Grand Slam level, former world number one. We saw this last year with Woz. She faces match points, overcomes that, rides that momentum right to the title. We saw that a couple years ago with Kerber at the Australian Open. This is Serena, even Simona Halep last year at the French Open needed to face that adversity from Sloane Stephens in the final match to get over the mental hump that she couldn't win a slam. I almost feel like the brink of death moment there, on serve 5-4, overcoming those match points against Serena yesterday was exactly what Pliskova needed to get over the hurdle mentally and take this thing all the way to the title.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Go on, Adil.
I just found another stat that Lee now saved also match points in 2014 when she won the title.
Yeah.
And it's funny also.
Yeah, this is.
Go on, Will.
I was gonna say this is tale as old as time.
And I have to say as well, Osaka, obviously, it was our highest viewed tennis video, and we got it wrong in the Serena. This name keeps coming back up to us, doesn't it? It comes to haunt us.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's funny as well because Alex went on the rant that it's Serena's. You may as well give her the cup, and then you were like, you just jinxed it, Alex, and he did.
I I think he did it intentionally. I think he was maneuvering intentionally to put the whammy on her. He put the whammy on her good. I don't know. A couple of thoughts real quick on the Serena collapse yesterday. She is an amazing competitor. I almost hesitate even having this opinion, because anytime you can win a slam, even if you are not at your top form, if you are in the semifinals, you have a chance to win the slam, you go for it. But part of me thinks that there is a reasonable possibility that after she turned her ankle, knowing that she was going to be on basically a 24-hour turnaround to play Osaka again, that she knew that her tournament was effectively over, whether she lost on that court at that moment to Pliskova or whether she lost today to Osaka. And I don't think she tanked necessarily, but it certainly seemed like she was kind of at peace with being eliminated. And it feels like that takes a little bit of the shine away from the job Pliskova does. Pliskova, her comeback was outstanding. It was incredibly inspiring to see her fight through the adversity that way. Down 5-1 to win, in a quarterfinal slam against the greatest women's tennis player of all time is like a lifetime achievement, even if she gets eliminated at this point. But it's, to me, it felt in the moment like Serena pretty much knew, the jig was up, the game was over. She was going to be limited today physically by the ankle injury that she sustained at that moment in 5-1. And she didn't have to face, a whole slew of questions here down the home stretch of her career if she lost again in a huge moment to Osaka, this time, be it limited by injury. So.
Interesting thoughts on that one. Listen, we do have to quickly ask though, because obviously, really close to the finals, we've got the outright winners here. Osaka being well, there's sort of like three really, but sort of one of the favorites, with Kvitova being the first favorite here. Ardil, you're still holding on to a ticket, Osaka to win it all.
Yes.
Obviously you've got the ticket beforehand. Do you still think that she can do it? What would you advise our viewers at this point in time?
It's funny, but I think Osaka will win this match, and I will hedge her in the final. I also have one prediction for this match. I think Osaka will win at 185. Okay. So I'm doubling my futures bet here. I think that this match against Serena Williams will be a hard weight on the shoulders of Pliskova. She is insanely good this year. As I talked last podcast, I said that she has a good chance to defeat Serena. But I think that the pressure is now bigger because she defeated the greatest female player of all time. And maybe after Steffi Graf.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think that this will be a lot of pressure, and the fact that she's playing. She played the last match on the women's side. Osaka had much more time to recover. She had an easier match against Svitolina. I thought Svitolina will win this match against Osaka, but Osaka played insanely good. And everything on the baseline, she was riding the baseline. She didn't give any chances to Svitolina. So I think that here in the power match, power showdown of these two girls, it will be very, very interesting to see. But in the end, I think that Osaka played this kind of players, and she defeated them in this matchups. She defeated also Serena Williams, a similar player to Pliskova, in the final rounds of US Open, and Pliskova had never reached the final so far, and I think that will be a lot of pressure on her shoulders. So one of my tips for these semifinals is Osaka to win.
Osaka to win. And on the money line there, do you agree with that World Cup? 1.8, not bad there for an outright price. Often the tennis, the outright prices are rather low on the favorite there, but 1.8 could be tempting.
I'm going head to head with our deal here. I'm looking for Pliskova to get the win at 2.22 plus 122. A couple of points that I'll bring up here. Osaka's form in this tournament has not looked anywhere close to how she looked at the U.S. Open. Her form in the U.S. Open was superlative. She has kind of skated by, not really put together a complete match. I feel like if you're backing Osaka in this spot, if you're backing her in this match, you are basically saying she has the pedigree, she has the chops she's going to step up and show us what she had at the U.S. Open, kind of out of thin air. I don't think that if she comes with the game that she had yesterday against Svitolina, she is going to get blown off this court. She has to significantly step up her game in just 24 hours because Pliskova is playing outstanding tennis. She has been for the entirety of 29 to this point, coming off of a title in Brisbane, 10-game winning streak going right now for her. And she was serving absolute missiles yesterday in that first set. If Pliskova's first serves are landing in, Osaka does not have the chops in the return game, in my opinion, to make competitive rallies and to take advantage of Pliskova's limitations in terms of movement. So this kind of boils down to me of, okay, if Pliskova's first serves are landing in, if the pressure is off now that she's kind of slayed Serena in spectacular fashion, if that has lifted any of the pressure from her, I feel like first serves landing in the way she was serving yesterday, she is going to be unbreakable. And I would expect not a competitive match if we see these exact same two players that played yesterday show up and play today. So I really think that if you're looking for an Osaka win here, you're counting on her to have another gear, another level that we just haven't seen to this point in the tournament. Because I got to tell you, that Osaka-Svitolina match yesterday was ugly. It was poor tennis from both players. I know that the scoreline suggests that Osaka was outstanding, but if you watch some of those points and watch how kind of, every kind of clutch moment she had to put those things away, she was a little bit shaky. She made some gross unforced errors at the end of that first set. She should have put her away much easier than 6-4. And Svitolina was not fit yesterday. She did not have it. Osaka should have dispatched her more easily even than she did. And Pliskova, on the other hand, with her strength and power, and especially in the service game, I think is going to make this a very, very tough contest for Osaka.
Here we go. We've heard Wales' side of the argument there, going head-to-head once again with Ardil. Do you have anything to say before we move on there with Wales' argument?
Yeah, we had our clashes like Sharapova and Wozniacki, like Tsitsipas and Bautista. So I think this is the round 3.
Yeah, that's right. And I gotta say, most of the time we've gone head to head to this point, it's been a very, very, very narrow margin, and it's been kind of luck one way or the other that's kind of determined the winner. So if that's the way this plays out, if Osaka shows up with the confidence of a former Grand Slam champion and gives Pliskova the business, I won't be totally surprised. All I can tell you is that what I saw from both players yesterday, if they show up and show us the same form, this is a Pliskova win, and she should be priced more favorably than right now as plus 122.
All right. Well, going head to head.
I saw Pliskova lose her head, like with Serena, like with the other sets she lost. So I think each can win easily a set, and after that, a third set is something we are looking for. But yep. I won't bet the overs because the last matches they played were non-overs, or one that was retirement. So I won't bet the overs, but I think it would be here. But anyway, I think Osaka will win. Let's see tomorrow.
Let's see tomorrow. Exactly. Someone is going to win on this one. How exciting. I like this.
Someone's going to be right.
Yeah, exactly. Someone is going to be right. All right. The other match as well, Kvitova Collins. Kvitova obviously huge favourites on there, 1.25. Well, Kappa, do you have any plays for that match?
Yeah, I'm going to stay away from this one because I'm holding a Kvitova future at 20-1 that I'm going to wait until the finals to hedge out of. I say hedge out of. I just need to take a good piece of the opponent in the final if Kvitova pulls off the victory, which I think she should. If you look back, they've played one time before, and it was right before New Year's, and it was in Sydney. And it was a very competitive match. And actually, looking back, I saw that. I didn't watch the match live. I saw the score, and I thought to myself, oh, man, maybe Kvitova's not in as good a form as I thought she would be because Collins took her to the wire. Lo and behold, it was the exact opposite. Collins is much, much better form than I have ever given her credit for, especially this particular run that she's been on Australian Open has been incredible. Coming back to beat Pavlyuchenkova was inspired tennis from her. And, Pavlyuchenkova is not like the most mentally sturdy, tennis player. So the fact that she kind of melted down after things weren't going her way, and that late in that second set wasn't totally surprising. But huge credit to Danielle Rose Collins for for her kind of ability to kind of be the aggressor and kind of set the tone of the match when it was when push came to shove. She won impressively. I think that she can give Kvitova a good contest here. I wouldn't be surprised to see this go 3 sets. But if this goes 3 sets, Kvitova is not Pavlyuchenkova. Kvitova is the master of pulling off a 3-set win, and she has the fortitude and the gumption and the she's got the goods when it comes down to that push comes to shove 3rd set decider. And even if she's down a break even in the 3rd set, I would still expect Kvitova to be able to pull this thing out. Danielle Rose Collins' game is not diverse enough to challenge Kvitova's weaknesses, in my opinion. And I think if Kvitova can kind of keep her cool, then she should win this one pretty comfortably.
Okay, all right. So that's Wales' take on the match. Ardil, do you have an official play?
Yeah, I have 2 plays here, but both are half stakes. The one is the overs 90.5, and the other is Collins to cover 5 games handicap 5.0. I think that the last match they played together is very interesting. Is, as you said before, New Year's Eve and in Sydney, but I saw the match and it was really a really good match. Both of them attacking, both of them holding serve rather easily. There were a couple of breaks in each set, so nothing WTA specific. I think it will be the same thing here. Collins showed, despite losing the first set to Pavlyuchenkova, showed that she's still in the match. She didn't lose her temper. She had the right tactics. Her coach is amazing tactician. She showed that in all her matches, and I think this is a bonus for her because they played together this year and they both know what to expect. I think it will be a close encounter. Don't know if it will be 3 sets, but I think Collins will have a saying in this. But if it goes 3, I think Kvitova has the upper hand, despite being down, as you said, a break or something like that, because she has a huge experience. Collins might choke a little bit, even if she wins a set and then a break up, she might choke because she never was in this position before. And despite graduating in the USTA with huge numbers, I think that is not the same thing as being in a semi-final of a Grand Slam. And these are my plays: Collins +5 and over 19.5. This is like a covering because she might lose at more than 5 games, even in 3 sets, if she gets the first set in a tiebreak or something like that. I just want to assure my picks.
All right. Make some compelling arguments there. Well, Capranosa, you do not have an official play. Do either of those take your fancy? Or are you again head-to-head?
No, I agree. I think he's got a strong point of view on this, and I tend to agree. I would be more surprised if this were a 6-2, 6-3 type of, one-sided affair than I would be if this goes deep into 3 sets. And, a lot of this is just, Collins has seen her game very recently and gave her everything she could handle. That more than anything else should give her the confidence she needs playing at the highest level that she's gotten to in her career. And, for the sake of the tennis watching public, I would love a good match. They're both fun players to watch and pull for, and it should be, the emotions, should capture you. If you're just sort of kind of a tennis fan, you'll presumably enjoy this match if it's competitive. So I like those looks, and I wouldn't steer anyone away from that. I think that's a good way to approach the match.
Sometimes they do agree. Okay. Finally, just
wait. Well, yeah, I was gonna say before we get to the men's, you want to talk about agreement? I got a funny feeling that there's really not a lot to disagree about on the men's side. So, the women's and oh, by the way, if we end up with Osaka Kvitova in the final, That's going to be a funny show because our deal is going to be basically hedging out of his position on Kvitova, and I'm going to be hedging out of my position on Osaka.
Yeah.
And we're not going to be able to help anyone. Everyone's going to be like,
Yeah.
well, what's the right side? And I don't know. I don't really care. So that's going to be quite fun.
Yeah, let's see the prices in that final if it goes that way, because we are looking for value, not necessarily for a winner. We are looking
That's
for
going to be
the.
that is going to be a very evenly
Yeah.
matched final. I would expect prices like right around 191 for either side.
Yes, I think so. And we will hedge both, and it will be very nice.
That's why you should have joined us from the beginning when we talked about our futures. But actually, just to round off the women's semifinals here, is if somebody wanted to jump on a future right now, has the value totally gone? Is there something you'd say, hey, there's a little bit of value in this, or you guys haven't even looked at it because you're holding on to your big futures ticket? So is there anything right now for the latecomers to the futures markets?
I think
No.
there's a reasonable possibility that Pliskova is now the winner after beating Serena. I think that's possible. And if you want to use historical context as your guide, and you want to say, okay, the momentum has turned now, and this is hers to lose, and she's going to have all the confidence in the world playing out there, then it's not a terrible idea, in my opinion, to back up Pliskova future. That said, there's not an obvious value in the final because she's likely going to be going up against someone who is an extremely tough competitor, and you're going to get, it's just going to be, there's no clear path where you can really say, worst case scenario, I'll have value to hedge out of this. So it's probably better to stay away at this point.
All right. And we will be back Friday as well. Friday morning, I think it's 10 a.m. Eastern time for the men's finals. I may or may not be on the show. It might be Alex hosting. I have a flight to catch on the Friday. If I have time, I may jump on, but I will definitely be watching. But Alex is probably hosting, but make sure to tune in for that one. So moving on to the men's semis now. We've got obviously Djokovic and Nadal still favourites. Obviously, Federer was the second favourite. He's out. But Djokovic's price has dropped even further. He's now 1.83. Nadal's 2.4. So very interesting to see how the semi-finals they will play out here. So first one is Tsitsipas, like the fly. Hey, whale.
That's right.
Inside joke there. But and Rafael Nadal. Obviously, Rafael Nadal, a huge ffavorite here. He has looked good. He seems quite determined. He's obviously incredibly low priced to win this match. Was anybody holding your futures on Tsitsipas? No.
No, I didn't.
No.
I didn't.
All right.
I had RBA here, so
that was a head-to-head, wasn't it? It was Ardeel against Whale Kappa and Alex, and it was Alex and Whale Kappa that won that head-to-head. Yeah. Yes.
And honestly, a Tsitsipas future probably did not have nearly as much value as if you simply parlayed him against Federer, against Nadal, and against Djokovic, because he's going to have to eliminate all of the big three in order to win this title. And if you just parlay those three legs together, I bet you would have gotten better odds than his pre-tournament 50-1 or whatever it was, because his path has been just utterly ridiculous. And the fact that he beat Federer, a lot of people thought, hey, congratulations, you made your accomplishment, great job. But he backed it up with a very gutsy win against RBA, who was playing far more dangerously than the scoreline would suggest. I'm a little disappointed in the way that they have made the schedule for this tournament. I really, really wish that they had put the two men's semifinals on the same day, and we could have gotten another day of rest for Tsitsipas before he goes head-to-head with Nadal, because that's the differentiating factor for me in this match. Besides the fact that Nadal is obviously a much more accomplished player, if you're sitting on the sidelines and you're saying, does Tsitsipas have a chance here? I think we would be having a different conversation if this match were being played a day later and he had another day to kind of regroup from this grueling run that he's had. There were points in time during that match against RBA where it looked like he was on absolute fumes, and it was like, dam's going to break any minute here. I don't know how much longer he can really keep this up. With one day of rest, he's a young guy. He's got that going for him, obviously, against the rest of the older vets in this field. But is 1 day rest enough to recuperate from the toll that all of this best of 5 tennis has probably taken on him? And that's a tough question. So I would probably be stumping for he's going to be a dangerous competitor for Nadal if he had gotten a little bit more rest, or if he had dispatched RBA a little bit more easily, maybe. But yeah, this looks pretty compelling that Nadal is going to come away with the victory here. And speaking of Nadal, we were on the same page, our deal at the beginning of this tournament, that number one, he's coming into this with no previous tournament experience. That's usually a very poor bellwether for Nadal. He almost always needs to have some reps under him before he's playing his top level. That has completely gone out the window. He got all of that out of the way, presumably, in his lackluster first round matchup against Duckworth. And since then, he's just been, absolutely robotic and routining guys on hard court in a way we haven't seen him do in years. And I got to tell you, get me in touch with his doctor, man. This guy, Nadal, was like he was averaging like 1 ace per match on hard court through last summer and fall. And now he's averaging 11. Like this kind of physical turnaround and ability to turn his service game into this unbreakable, dynamo is just wild. And I'm not I'm not suggesting that this is totally sustainable. And if you kind of read between the lines of some of the press he did after his match against Tiafoe, he's definitely carrying some sort of abdominal injury right now, and that may rear its ugly head at some point. But he's played so far and away so much less tennis than Tsitsipas has to this point in the tournament that it's really tough for me to come up with a way in for Tsitsipas to get enough ground in this one to win the match outright. So Nadal going to the finals. Best of luck against Djokovic. I think he's going to get his clock cleaned in the finals personally, but we'll talk about that on Friday.
Yeah, and I tell you what, on Monday, remember we were looking at the futures for Name the Finalists, and Djokovic and Nadal, I think, was about 2.5. They're now 1.2. That has seriously dropped. That's gone. That ship has sailed. But it's totally gone there. So do you have an official play there for Tsitsipas and Nadal there, Whale Kappa?
Yeah, I took 2 plays. I think we see an impressive effort from Tsitsipas early. I think that his path to victory is to put pressure on Nadal out of the gate. He has to get a foothold in the first set. If he does not, then he likely gets dispatched the same way Tiafoe did. And Nadal is a player that builds strength as you go through the match. You cannot expect to get him. You can't, especially as much tennis as Tsitsipas has played, you can't expect him to get to get the better of him in set 4 or 5. So you got to jump on him early. In that vein, I like Tsitsipas first set games handicap +1.5 at +125. That means him basically he can win the first set or he can lose 7-6 in a tiebreak, and that is a winning play. I also like the games over 36.5 at -105. That can cash whether or not we see a fourth set, and the way Nadal, the way that their strengths match up against each other. If we see a tiebreak in the first couple sets, I won't be totally shocked. So it's going to be tough to cash without 4 sets. But basically, I got my fingers crossed that Tsitsipas wins the first set in a tiebreak 7-6, and then Nadal takes care of business from there on.
Okay. Is that the way you see the game playing out, Ardil?
Yeah, basically yes. But I think Nadal will win it more easily than you expected. I have here an amazing stat. Nadal has now hold serve for 60 times straight during the Australian Open. He lost the last time serve against Duckworth while serving for the match. And after that, he played Ebden 3 sets, De Minaur 3 sets Berdy, and 3 sets Tiafoe. And in the last two matches, I think he didn't face that man. Against Tiafoe, he faced a few breakpoints, but against Verdi, he was untouchable. The fact that he serves so good now is because he's changed the service motion. He doesn't slide it that much. He hits a more flat serve, and he's more aggressive from the baseline. And we can see that that is improving for him for the service. To lose only 2 service games in the 5 matches, 5 3-setters is amazing. Another matchup thing that I saw written by someone, and I saw also the videos, is that Nadal wins a lot of points from the at side, because the opponents that use an one-handed backhand had to slice the return because it's too wide from the baseline, and he punches 1-2 and he closes very easily. You can ask Federer in the past years; he knows that better than anybody. The fact that Tsitsipas defeated Bautista is amazing. I think Bautista should have won there in 3 sets because he was 4-2 in all first 3 sets. He got out of gas. Bautista, I didn't expect that. Tsitsipas somehow found the energy to finish this match in a impressive way, because he served only. The 4th set was a serving contest. It was like Karlovic versus Isner. Another fun fact, because you said the first set might be on Tsitsipas' side, is that Tsitsipas lost his serve in the first game of the match against the RBA, and he faced 2 break points in the first game of the match against Federer. So I think that Nadal will break early. The fact is that they will play at night in a humid condition with the slower courts, and Rod Laver Arena is the slowest of them all. So I think that the serve will help Tsitsipas keep close, but I think that in the end Nadal will win this rather easily. And my play here is Nadal minus 6.5. He can win this by this margin also in 4 sets, no problem. We have seen this also in 5 sets if Tsitsipas wins by 3 games in the first 2 sets. So this handicap is better than the 3-0 handicap. I think Nadal will dispatch him in set 2 and 3. So this is my play here.
Right. All right. Final match here. Djokovic, Pouille, 1.08. He's been the favorite the whole tournament long. He's in good form. Should be a comfortable win here. But I don't know, when predicting soccer as well, with such a huge favorite, it is hard to find value. Ardil, I know that value is, one of the keys to your betting tactics here. Have you been able to find value that's tempting for you to play it?
No. This match is just for me. This match is just for fun. I think that Djokovic, for fun, for the tennis lovers. It's funny that Tsitsipas. One moment, Tsitsipas, Pouille. We're talking about Pouille. Pouille has had 2 tiebreaks in each match in the last 4 matches. He was serving insanely good. That means also that he served insanely good, but he also returned very poorly. That's a knife with two faces. If you cannot break Djokovic's serve, you are doomed to follow him scoring down. If Djokovic is serving first, then you might see just the abyss of this match. Pouille is also very tired, in my opinion. He managed to defeat Raonic, but Raonic has shown absolutely nothing in this quarterfinal. I don't know what happened. He didn't serve good. He didn't move well. His net play is top 3 in ATP, and he played like top 50 player at the net. He didn't do anything in the match, and I think Pouille deservingly is here in the semifinal. He had a lucky draw also to meet Kukushkin, Martyr, and Popper in the first 3 rounds, and after that he faced Koric that was drunk on court and Raonic that was in his C or D play. I think that Djokovic, as he played only an hour or something like that against Nishikori, is also very fit, and I think he will win 3-love. But I don't see any value because he Puil might serve heads off for one set and get in a tiebreak, and we saw that Djokovic is vulnerable in that tiebreak because it's very short time period, and he can lose. I don't see any value in this match, so my opinion is to stay away because the prices are too low, the handicap are too high, and I think they priced it pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. And bookies do that, don't they? Sometimes it's like they don't want you to bet, or sometimes they just sew things up that there is no value. And just looking at also the outrights as well, Djokovic 1.83 to win at the moment, Pouille 41. I think that says a lot as well. Like, Whale Kappa, were you able to find any value on this one, or again, is this just for the tennis lovers?
Well, you mentioned, let's start with the outrights. I personally, in the back of my head, still don't believe in Nadal being able to win this title. And maybe that's my folly. Maybe that's my, maybe that's my bias coming into this that's affecting that. And the fact that you can still get Djokovic at minus 110 is mind blowing to me. If you haven't already locked up some of that, and I'm fully loaded at this point. As we've seen, kind of the key players who could beat him get eliminated. I keep adding a little bit more and a little bit more. So I'm pretty heavily invested in Djokovic at this point. Even if you are like an arbitrager kind of person, like there is no reason not to look for Djokovic at this shorter price now, because unless something wild happens in these semifinal matches, you are likely going to see prices like Djokovic minus 160 to minus 180 against Nadal in the final, right? So why not get minus 110 now if on Saturday morning it's going to be minus 160, 180? That makes tons of sense to me. And you can even potentially come back and look for Nadal like plus 1.5 or plus 1.5 sets. Basically, hoping for a 5-setter where you hit both. And if Djokovic beats Nadal 3-2 and you're holding lots of Djokovic futures, and then Nadal wins at least two sets, then you're covered there. It would be a great way to kind of have your feet up for the final, not really have to handicap too hard, because I don't see any kind of set of circumstances here where Pouille truly pushes Djokovic to where we're like, wow, Djokovic is really screwed now for the final, and Nadal just wipes the floor with Tsitsipas, and you see a market open for that game that favors Nadal. Almost certainly Djokovic is going to be the favorite in this final. And so if you're kind of looking ahead, if you're like, these semifinals are a waste of time, but I want to position myself well for the final, you can do that pretty aggressively right now, the way that these futures are priced, in my opinion. As far as the match itself goes, I give Pouille a little bit more credit than our deal does. I think that he has played some pretty inspired tennis, and having not won a single match in Melbourne in his entire career up until this Grand Slam, and them making a run all the way to the semifinals is very impressive to me. And I give him some credit. Give his coach, Emily Mauresmo, new coach this year. She definitely deserves a lot of credit. She's helped him kind of keep his approach reined in, keep him focused on tennis, which is kind of the one thing that was always lacking for Pouille, because he has all the tools, and he's young, he's powerful, he's got the game for it. And he, not only is he serving very well right now, but his return game is on point. You saw that last match with Raonic. Raonic's serve was not especially poor, I didn't think. But Pouille was getting everything back in play, establishing some rallies, and using to his advantage, the way to attack Raonic, which was very impressive to me. So I think Pouille can, test Djokovic a little bit more so than, expecting just a straight set slam dunk here for Djokovic. Crown him, put him in the final. Let's move on with this. So, I think I haven't entirely settled on place here. I don't know if I'm going to look for Pouille to win at least a set, or if I'm going to look for a game's over or a set's over. But I do think that it should be a competitive, interesting match, especially the way that Pouille is returning right now, and I keep calling him Pouille, whatever his name is. It's he should he's got nothing to lose. He hasn't really played so much tennis that I'm afraid of him running out of gas. There should be a lot of opportunities for breaks from both players. So there might be a fun market. Now that we're in the semifinals, there might be some fun markets to attack, like breaks in the match over or something like that, because I could see both players being able to get purchase and break their opponent's serve. I don't think this is going to be a hold fest or just a couple of breaks on the part of Djokovic and sort of a routine victory. So should be a fun match. I'm looking forward to it. I'm just sad that it's the only match we have to watch tomorrow. So
at least you guys will be getting your sleep back soon. How's it?
That's a good point.
Yeah. So next week you're all bit like, there's always a silver lining to every cloud, isn't there? All right. Yeah. How exciting! So some things you've agreed in, some things is head to head, and yes.
I have something. I have another bet. A double for the doubles matches, the ATP doubles matches. We are not talking that much about the doubles, but I follow them also. I have a double where both favorites win in the semifinals. The one is Conti and Pierce to defeat Mayer Sousa, and Herbert Mahut to defeat Harrison Querrey. I think that in the semifinals, the more experienced double players are very favored to win the matches. Despite Harrison being also a slam winner, I don't think that he will have a good time along Querrey. And Leo Mayer and João Sousa are way over their heads, I think, for a semi-final in a Grand Slam. So this is a double that I like here. It's like 150, both of them, and 225 as a double.
Okay, nice. Do you have any doubles, World Cupper?
No. So I like those looks though. That sounds fun. Are you gonna do a doubles double?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. I like that. That's fun.
A double. We've got I'm gonna read some of this comment. Drew Daddy. Hey dude, in the top right. I think that's you, World Cupper.
Is that me? Is that me?
I'm fading you. Serena choked, Raonic got smacked, and Nadal killed Typho. Big smile and then a little halo. Hey dude in the top right. That's Whale Kappa. Come on. Where have you been? He's called Whale. All right.
Yeah, that implies that my tips have been losing, and for this week at least, I'm actually rowing pretty good. So
I know you're doing very good. Yeah.
I did think Raonic was going to win, but I think the universe thought Raonic was going to win. And Serena, she had match points. I don't know what to tell you, man.
Yeah. Don't worry. It happens to all of this. I've been doing this for a long while, and the one tip you get wrong, everybody remembers. You're just like,
sure.
Oh
sure
God. And don't forget, we are doing this. We're giving our opinions, and it's up to you to take it away and take what you want out of that, and obviously formulate your own picks here. But hopefully, we have been of some advice and some help, even if these two guides, dude in the top right and dude in the bottom left, do go head to head. But I'm just finding it.
Getting Tsitsipas. I was on an island betting Tsitsipas. Where's the credit there, buddy?
Yeah,
Drew Daddy.
So they don't. Honestly, they don't remember that stuff. They don't remember that stuff.
No, I know.
Drew Daddy says, "I'm just messing."
I know. It's all in good.
I just like the fact that you were called dude in the top right. Dude in the top right. All right.
I could be anyone. There's no way to tell. I could be anyone.
Exactly. He is our international man of mystery, as you know, reporting from all locations, which is always great, but always with a common theme, the sunny background. I don't think he ever sees rain. All right, guys, I'm going to let you go. A massive thank you, obviously, to Whale Kappa and our deal. They post all their plays as well free. You've got at Whale_Kappa and at Unardeal. I think finally I've said it right. Did I say it right? Unardeal?
Yes.
Unardeal at Tipsters Club Sportsbook.com. There we go. Thank you everyone
And
watching. We will be back on Friday for the finals. Dude in the top right. Dude in the bottom left.
I hope.
Pleasure.
Yeah. Best of luck.
Best of luck, guys. Thanks for watching.
Best of luck.
See you soon.
Let's crush it again. Bye.
Bye.